Now entering Nerdist.com.
Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Right on. It's the Jackie and Laurie Show. Howdy.
Howdy. It's the Laurie and Jackie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show. I'm Jackie
So
Cation.
nice. I'm Laurie Kilmartin.
Here we are again. We're still doing comedy.
This is the first one we've taped that's going the next day.
Right.
We've been a week behind.
Yeah. So this is real time almost.
Yeah, on topical stuff.
Joe Wagner just said to me, he's a fan. I just saw Joe Wagner at the LA Riot Fest, LA Comedy Festival thing.
Yeah.
And I saw so many comics and a bunch of comics and just normal LA comics just sitting around talking like normal usually. But for some reason, you know when you're just kind of sitting around and talking with comics, it's fine. This was talking with intent. It was like weird riffing that wasn't fun.
They're trying to be funny.
Yeah.
It's awful. It was
like, irritating.
That is very festival-y, though.
Right.
Everyone's on high performance level. Right. They're at DEF CON.
Right.
I must be comedy all day long.
Who's here?
Yeah.
Is someone looking at you? Is there work? Possibly work somewhere?
Is that person I don't recognize your manager? Could I impress them?
Right. Is there casting? What's happening? Is someone going to sign something?
You have sexy cold voice.
Oh, I've got. I'm getting over it, but it's been I did a benefit in Seattle that I just flew back from today.
Yeah.
And
who is the benefit for?
Well, remember Kermit Appeal?
Yes.
So his kids. You know how public schools don't pay for themselves anymore,
right? And
so it was a benefit for his kids' public school.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, he flew me. I mean, I made a little bit of money, and they flew me up, and it was fine. But it wasn't a great.
You made public school money, not private school benefit.
Exactly,
money, right?
That's it. But I had just come from. You won't be interested, but I'll be telling you that I just came from Harry Potter World.
Oh, I almost was like, how dare you tell me I wouldn't be? Oh. You hit it on the head, sister. I don't give a fuck.
Bullseye. Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. Harry Potter World, Orlando, Florida. Anyway, and then I went and I did comedy. And comedy was fun. But comedy, always hilarious.
But wait, did you go to Florida just to do Harry Potter?
Yes, it's a vacation, Laurie Kilmartin. You remember.
I don't approve. All vacations must be tied to gigs.
Oh, I know, but remember,
you couldn't get something in Orlando once you booked it.
I was told this is wise stand-up comedy. Old Road Dog. I forget the guy's name, but Old Road Dog told me because when I got married.
Yeah,
we're going to Italy for our honeymoon. We saved up 2 years. We're going to Italy. We go to Italy, and I was like, wow. If I could pick up a set or two, we could write this all off. And Old Road Dog says to me, "Oh yeah, that was a point of contention in my divorce." That I did a gig on our honeymoon.
Husbands,
and I was like, point taken. Remember when
they don't get it?
Well, but sometimes you just go with a family member. You go with a loved one, and you don't write it off. You call it a holiday.
No, I don't.
Didn't you do that?
You know why? I guess his name is Old Road Dog. You don't know his name. That's why, because he doesn't do spots on vacation. All right.
Well,
closers do spots on vacation.
I'll take the steak knives. Steak knives.
I took my kid to Ireland to deposit my dad's ashes all over the island, blackening a crop of potatoes for the next 5 years to come. But I walked by a gig in Dublin that does like a thing a bar that does comedy.
Did you pick up a set?
Fuck yeah! And my kid had to wait downstairs in the streets of Dublin.
We talked about this before you went. I told you the story.
It was awesome.
And now you can write it off.
Yeah.
You are correct. I mean, the thing is, I am jealous. But the thing is, I think I can write off the Harry Potter thing just because of the Dork Forest.
I think you can too.
Because I'm a dork, and it's.
Oh yeah.
And the name of my album. Hey everybody, I have an album out, and it's called "This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux." See the seamless commercial into that damn thing?
Wow, you are an Old Road Dog. Look at you just selling merch.
I will
in
work
the middle of your set. You don't even wait till the end. Usually it's like tip your wait staff. Oh, I have an album.
Oh,
you
and by the way,
it.
at Jackie. No, anyway, come on. It's so yeah. So that's what I did. But okay, so I have a cold.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so I did this dumb thing where Bridget Fetisi or Fatasi.
Okay.
Do you know?
I don't.
She's a very funny comic whose last name I don't know how to pronounce.
Fair enough.
But I've given her two excellent options. So
Go with
So
those.
she goes, "Hey, you want to write this thing?" And it's for Playboy.com. And,
Okay.
it pays. So I said yes, and then it's a parody of a Trump speech, which is like it's impossible to write something he wouldn't say.
Right.
It's fucking. But it's due tomorrow.
Oh my God.
I've really backed myself into a horrible corner.
Right.
It's appalling. So that's been traumatizing me all weekend. It's one of the I paid to put it off.
Yeah.
Cleaned. I put socks together, and I paid like 4 parking tickets that go back to October, and they're triple and quadruple in price.
Oh my God!
But they would be even if I hadn't taken this.
You've already
writing
made
assignment.
money. You've already made money.
I know it. That I would have had my car taken away from me.
There you go. See, so that's
yeah.
where you're building character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you're going to write something that Trump wouldn't say because the guy's a disaster.
I know.
The guy's a nightmare of humanity. But here's my question.
Okay.
When you're doing the road
Right.
and you are the headliner,
Yeah.
you're the one, man.
Right.
But you got a cold.
Oh shit.
Do you do the set or do you call in sick? Have you ever called in sick?
I've never called in sick.
I've never called in sick. And I look back at it and I should have once. Because I literally, my voice was 3 times as bad as this. I was croaking out punchlines. And I had the single tear like the Native American in the commercial in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And so guess what? Somebody else could have taken that spot and the audience would not have been like, no, I think that was funny. What was she saying?
Listen, if you're the MC and you're going to fuck up the mic, cancel. But if you're the headliner, you can...
And you can somehow chug your way through
your
it?
mouth all over that mic.
Oh, I did.
They have Monday to clean the mic. The next show starts on Tuesday. And you know clubs clean the mic every week, right? They take a...
Yeah, it's just like bowling shoes. No, nobody's cleaning the mic. Nobody's spraying down.
Your germs will die after a day.
I'm not worried about the germs. I'm worried about people hearing the jokes if I have laryngitis because I have scratchy throat syndrome.
Fuck them. They're
Right.
there. They'll like you.
I got jokes to tell. Don't prorate me. I gotta get paid for this gig.
Never called in sick.
Never called in sick. Me neither.
Never called in vacation either. But I don't want to bring that back up.
Oh, already. But when you went to Ireland, you had every intention of not doing any sets. I remember this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, pick up
I'm
a
walking,
free set.
I turn left off of Grafton Street and there's a comedy club. What can I do?
Right. What are you made of stone? You're not made of stone.
I'm not.
Exactly. You got to do it. What are you going to do? So you sent me this article. When I quit cutting my hair, I learned how men treat women on American roads.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
Hilarious.
It's this motorcycler,
roadandtrack.com.
Okay.
Car culture.
So this guy
There's a motorcycle.
he let his hair grow long, so
Yeah.
he looks like a woman from the back apparently.
Right, even
And
though he's 6'4", and from the front has a beard.
he looks like a heavy large woman.
Yes, on a giant bike.
Yeah, and so whenever he cuts people off or does anything, now he's noticed men will drive up to him and be like, "Fuck," and then they stop. They stop because they realize, oh, that's a dude.
That's a
but
giant
when they
dude.
think it's a woman,
They just say the worst stuff in the world.
Yeah,
it was a great
fascinating.
article where you're like, and his helmet is kind of has flowers on it. He
it's got
said.
unicorns or whatever. It's
right.
like
His girlfriend was like, "Well, you could buy a different helmet," and he said, "No, it's kind of giving me a kind of a view into what it's like."
Yeah.
yeah. He said,
That's kinda cool.
he said, and I liked how he ended the article. He said, some people say that I could just get a different helmet and it wouldn't matter, but I thought, well, maybe I'm making these guys actually realize how they are treating these women, and all I could think was, nah.
I doubt it. No revelations
I doubt
are
it.
coming on the
I
freeway.
don't think that there's a huge lot of.
Do you? You must wonder what your career would have been like had you been the same exact person but a dude. Jack Cation.
Jack
You know what I
Cation.
mean?
If my brother Russ had done stand up,
No. If you, just
okay.
you know what I mean? Like
just me. But
like
if I had been a man,
every time you are turned left, had you had the opportunity to turn right or something, and it's impossible to figure out because there's so many X factors. You don't know why things happen the way they do, but even though it looks over and over again.
it does seem sometimes that decisions are being made because I have a vagina.
Yeah.
But I've never, we were talking about this last episode about how we spent 30 years, so I've spent the last 30 odd years or whatever, 25 odd years pretending I wasn't a woman on stage.
Right.
So to try to extrapolate that, what it would have been like if I would have been a guy, I do know Well, do you know many comics? What I have noticed about this is a very big generalization is that women comics don't get moved up as fast. You get work initially faster,
right,
as a woman comic, but you don't get moved up as quick.
Yeah, you get the $125 MC weeks.
Yeah, and then you can get moved up to plenty of them, 50 a year. Oh, feel free to live with your parents forever, and you can get moved up to feature pretty quick.
Yeah,
but you can't. That last jump.
I could not break out a feature. That's why I moved to New York. I was so fucking tired, and I'm like, I'm as good as these guys that are following me, and I can't break past it.
Yeah,
I just can't, and it was driving me nuts. And I was working the South on all these rooms where I'm just like,
screw this.
There's no way out of this, you know. And there's always a couple magical unicorn female comics that were elevated, but everyone else. Everyone else. There's like 8 others.
Right. There were 9 of us. And
you can't keep doing $500 weeks. Yeah.
You look back at the late 80s and the early 90s and you're just like, okay, well, I can get as many feature weeks as I want. In 1993, I could get as many feature. And I was like, that's why I still had a day job.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And then I did, Minneapolis is pretty good for moving people up.
Yeah.
And I remember how happy the club owners, it was not Lewis, but other club owners were just so proud of themselves when they started headlining me. Just proud of themselves.
Oh, man. Oh, my God.
I was like, yeah, it's going to be fine. But I remember one of the first weeks I headlined at Knuckleheads at the Mall of America.
Yeah.
It was, I've probably told the story 100 times. And I'm telling
I haven't heard it, but that was the worst room. Horrible.
Well,
people coming
ceilings.
in with shopping bags. Like, you were the last thing they were doing. You were the last store at the mall.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like mounds of shopping bags and toys and stuff. And now
I'm going to have an umbrella drink and sit down and hopefully this person will be funny. And you're like, hopefully that's the attitude that I've been looking for.
No comedy fan. No human I want to know goes to the Mall of America, but a comedy fan for sure doesn't
for
see
sure
comedy there.
Is not seeking. Yeah, so it was, and the show was Minneapolis has so many great comics, and in 1994, it was Isaac Whitty emceeing,
wow,
Chad Daniels featuring,
wow,
and then me.
Wow.
It was my first headline week at the Mall of America. So I got on stage and I was like, we're just going to try to keep it up here, folks. There's not going to be a huge spike in stand-up comedy. You're just going to continue to enjoy yourself, hopefully. Yeah. And so it came to pass, because quite honestly, I had been doing it as longer than both of those guys, but they had both been moved up to headliner before me.
Yeah.
And
I could come up with 1,000 examples of that.
Yeah. And they're both genuinely hilarious
nothing
dudes
on them.
at all.
It's just you can't.
It's just the way it was, or the way it is. Or
women are perfect features for men, for male headliners.
They really set up the room. And
we're easy to follow.
That's it. And then you just knock it out of the park, gentlemen. You do it.
You don't want to take that away from a male headliner. A woman that's easy to follow. Oh my God.
And the thing is,
even when you kill, it's like, oh, that's cute. It's a cute kill.
But I don't know any women who. You remember, you'd meet those guys who'd be like, I'm going to blow the headliner away. Yeah, this is the way I'm going to move up. He can't follow this shit, man.
Yeah.
And then we just, it would get super aggro. I didn't know any women who were like that.
I wasn't like that. I tried to kill as hard as I could, but within my own boundaries. The people that are like, I'm going to fucking wreck you. They're like doing 45-minute feature
they were trying
sets
to
and
wreck.
crowd work and all. Yeah. I was never like that. I was trying to murder so that I would get A+ on the comment cards.
Exactly.
And Aubrey Pippin at Comedy House Theater would move me up.
Right. And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get a gold star and they're going to know that I'm worth it.
Right.
And you're like, except for that, those guys who would go up and do 45 minutes in crowd work and somebody couldn't follow them, they got
rewarded. Totally.
Yeah, they totally got rewarded. And it was just, it really irritated me because I remember when I got moved up and then I would still feature because it was Minneapolis and I lived there, right?
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, okay, this kind of headliner, real smart, so I'm going to lean my feature stuff towards all my smart stuff.
Yeah.
So that they're thinking by the time he gets up. Or he's filthy, I'm going to do all my dirty stuff so that they're thinking dirty by the time he gets up. So I genuinely did think, I'm like, oh, what a good sport Jackie Cation is. And I think,
good sport.
Idiot.
Exactly. Yeah, the good sport feature.
Oh, Christ on a cracker Cation. And it had to slow me down at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
If not
Decades?
a decade.
Decades. Damn.
I know. And but there were
I feel sick right now. I need a second.
Regroup.
Oh my God.
Regroup.
Yeah, that's why I moved to New York, which ended up being completely life-changing. And the thing I was supposed to do was I couldn't see a way out of it. And I moved to New York and I was like, I got a day job. The first day job I'd had in like 9 years.
Didn't you do like IT or coding or something?
Yeah. I mean,
Computer
it's
stuff.
HTML coding
Okay.
and a little JavaScript and some CSS for you coders. You know my skills.
Sure. Mad.
But I could make a table for any browser. And I don't want to brag, but I honestly could stretch out Netscape and my fucking tables would stretch out with. Is anyone here? So.
No, I think we're all done.
But you know
The
what?
dork forest is left. You're talking about coding.
That paid $25 an hour,
Dude.
in New York in '99, which
Oh my
is
gosh.
nuts.
That's great.
That was like the first tech boom, and I sometimes wonder, had I stayed in tech, would I
have owned Microsoft.
Yeah, or a share of anything?
Right. You might have.
But you
still wouldn't be on Silicon Valley though. They don't have any women. I'm so sorry.
Oh, they do. They have Alice
That's
Winterneck,
right. They do.
right?
They have
Yes.
one woman. Yes. It's great.
She's great. Yeah.
And she is great, and there's no reason. I mean, the thing is there's no reason for Silicon Valley to have any women on the show.
Because Silicon Valley
doesn't have any women on the show.
any women in the Valley.
Yes, there's very few women on the Valley.
Right.
And those that they do have are getting everyone coffee.
Yeah.
Even though they can make a hell of a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, I just did that as a day job, and then I just was doing spots at night. And I was like, I don't care. I just can't go back out again.
Right.
And,
So you just moved to New York to do
I
spots.
almost like
and just,
rebooted.
Okay.
Like I'm going to be a New York comic. I'm just going to do spots
Just
here and
reinvent
see what
yourself.
happens. And I did very little road work.
Okay.
Because it was so shitty and paid so poorly. It
Right.
wasn't, and
I have a different.
that
idea.
changed
I think-
everything.
I thought it was going to be like if I tried to move to New York in '89, made me hate that Sinatra song, man. Anyway, but I tried to move there and do stand up, but I just started doing stand up.
Oh yeah, you're only like
so I was
2
super
years in.
new. Yeah. And so I was very good, and it was all bringers.
Yeah.
And I worked in the World Trade Center. It was the dumbest. I had worked at an insurance company called Chubb Life.
Oh
And-
my god, I remember that.
Oh my God. And by the way,
Horrifying name.
you know how I quit that job? I told
What?
them my mother died. I was so gutless. I was like, my mother has cancer. I got to go back to Wisconsin. And my boss didn't even believe me. He said,
you could have just quit.
like a person.
your own.
Yeah, as an adult. I could have just said, hey, I don't want to work here anymore.
You don't have to raise the stakes. If you want to come back to Chubb Life, you got to kill your mother. But
Right.
if you're leaving forever, you can let that lady live.
Right, I could have let her live. I killed my dead mom. I made sure in my mythical imaginary world that I killed the person who had already
You
dead.
turned it all the way up to 10. You could have done 2.
Oh, I didn't have to turn it on at all. I could have just walked.
You could have been, your name is Chubb Life.
Right,
Adios.
that's the dumbest name ever.
Yeah. And you're all going to die on September 11th.
Right.
I'm
Made
out.
Kyle laugh.
That's the first Kyle laugh. That motherfucker is stone cold hard to make laugh.
That Kyle? Oh, yeah.
You got to go 9/11 to get any noise out of him.
He has been smiling and nodding for at least 15 minutes though, so it's all good.
I'm a smile and nod comic.
Yeah, it's not what
now.
you're looking for. But I always thought that
makes
moving-
us humorous, doesn't it?
humorists.
Mm.
I always thought if you moved to New York, it'd be like a road boom because all those places are squashed together so close.
What do you mean road boom?
I thought you'd get all kinds of like road work. You could do 7 sets a night. You'd make $1,200 a week, and doing stand up.
Because you're from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
You are not going to get work in Boston
Ever.
No,
Damn.
never.
Why?
I mean, maybe now there's some kind of alternative scene, but back then it was
Yeah.
like your name had to be Sweeney, and it was like it was just
Could I have
Boston guys.
Could I have taken my mother's maiden name, Anne Ryan, and just gone with
Yeah.
yeah. Still,
It would've
I would have
skipped
had
you
to put
out,
an
but-
O in front of it. Oh yeah, she was actually royalty or whatever the fuck
But
that
also,
means.
you didn't want to leave New York. Once you start working clubs, it's the center of the world and it's the center of comedy. That's what it feels like. you
Yeah.
know? That's why I love to go back. I just feel like I'm I'm still part of it.
I love doing sets in New York just because there's more hanging out because there's always going to be another train.
Yeah.
In LA, you can just get into your car.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you're like, well, I guess I'm leaving. But if you look at a train schedule, you're like, oh, there's one in 12 minutes.
Look
there's
at a
one
train schedule. What?
40.
What?
I had an app.
Were you staying?
I had an app.
For the subway?
Yeah. Well, the last time I was there, yeah.
Wow.
I have Hop
It's
Stop.
advanced beyond.
Hop Stop.
Okay.
Don't you have Hop Stop?
I don't use that for the subway.
Oh, okay. You just go to the train station and lurk?
It should say you're fucked every time you.
Oh, right.
Where's the A train? Oh, you're fucked.
Oh, it's not running now.
Yeah.
It's not running.
Yeah.
Not today. And
It's got it. But yeah, New York was wonderful. But had I been elevated,
right. If you had been headlining out of San Francisco,
here's what I remember headlining. That was my age, and
Yeah.
we started at the same time. Was Kathleen Madigan, Felicia Michaels,
Yep.
Beth Donahue.
Right. What's
She
her
was
name?
like-
Diane Ford.
Oh, she was older than us.
She was older than us.
Okay, we'll get into the whole kerfluffle with the comedians.
with Schumer and
the lying, or whatever, the stealing or stuff like that. But I look because part of me was like, okay, we're talking about premises and stuff. I'm like, all
Okay.
right,
Yeah.
I think I've heard these premises. I mean, it's no one. These were written in caveman time, like
Right. They're just normal jokes about everyday life.
Yes,
Everyone
okay.
has written
All right,
those jokes.
We'll get into that in a
Okay.
second. But I did watch because I was just curious. I'm like, especially the dressing your man so that other women. Okay, I was like,
I love that.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Oh, 1,000 times.
And it's
1200.
It's almost like
1986.
white noise. That joke is.
Yeah.
like you could actually.
It's a setup for the joke
put
you
a
wrote
baby to
after
sleep
it.
to it. Yes.
It's you've written that joke. That's great.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you have anything that you've written in the last 1,000 years?
But again, we're not condemning anybody.
No.
But
Seems a little sweeping, and it doesn't, because there are amazing Kathleen Madigan jokes. There are amazing Wendy Liebman jokes.
Yes.
Those are not them.
well, those were, neither of those
For
were
me.
them though.
Neither. Oh,
That was
Schumer
Pescatelli.
and Pescatelli.
Okay.
Okay.
But okay. So we're going off the rails already.
Right.
Let's get back on the
Okay.
rail for a second. So I watched a bunch of Women of the Nights, like
the
a
old
bunch
school.
of old stand-up. I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, these ladies. Like, what happened to them? Diane Ford, Diana Jordan. Remember Diana Jordan?
Oh wow.
Now she was like. She would do well. It wasn't my style whatsoever. It
Sure.
was very much ladies, are you with that kind of a thing? You know what I mean?
Well,
That
are you
classic-
ladies? Are you with me? Are you? Let's do this.
You do have to find out.
You have to
if
find
you
out
don't
if they're
ask the ladies
if they're with you.
you're not going to know.
Right. You could, if you just said a sentence at them, have you?
You need to tell the fellas to sit this one out as well. You
That's
need
nice.
to let them know so they don't invest anything in the setup.
By the way, the generic version of that is,
Yeah.
did you guys see this commercial? Why
Oh,
don't
my
we
God.
assume that we all saw the commercial? You're going to describe it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Stop talking.
So I, a little of her, and then I watched a Women of the Night. That was the HBO special, which I
Okay.
didn't get. That they would have. I mean, it was a generation a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
But they also put they put Kathleen and Wendy
Right.
on it and stuff. And I was like, I
Kinda
did start at the
comparable.
same time. I was just wasn't. I wasn't in there. I wasn't
Yeah.
in that pantheon, I guess. It's still frustrating to me now. Even now, I'm like, I
Right.
just stayed at this fucking grinder feature phase
Yeah, that
for the longest time.
It's true, which I know that happens with guys too, but there's
Yeah.
only 7 fucking women. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to put another woman on your 52-week roster, we were available, it turns out,
They
in
only
1997.
allow 6 women. So.
It's if that. And
But,
you know, did you know Kathleen coming up?
no, I didn't. Never met her because they never
That's
put
right,
women on the
didn't you?
shows together.
Right. You met
I met her here.
like 5 years ago,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I met her like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I had never met her. And I have not been booked because people said I was too much like her.
Really?
And I was like, who wouldn't want that twice?
oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And first of all, who wouldn't want a funny wink?
On so many levels, do you think your audience is like going, wait a minute, that's reminiscent of the comedian 32 weeks ago that headlined here?
Right. And Kathleen Madigan's act is entirely different from my
Yes.
act.
And you could have 2 great comedians that both speak. Like, I don't know what else you guys have in common.
we don't have anything in. I mean,
No.
it was the guy, Mark Ridley from Comedy
that guy
Castle.
never booked me.
He booked me once, and then he told me that I was too much like Madigan.
if he was here, I'd throw something at his head. Because you know what else? What bugs me? If I have to hear one more male comic tell me how much the Comedy Castle is their favorite gig. Oh, really? The one that doesn't? He never would work me.
Right.
I emceed there once, and he's like, eh.
Yeah, you're not enough. It's not.
And I went into MC just so I could work there,
show,
and I was already like featuring and headlining shitty rooms, like. Oh my God, that guy!
It was
the fact that everyone else, oh, that's the best room. He's the greatest.
Right, that burns. Doesn't it burn when someone goes, "Oh, that's such a great room," and you're like,
you know what?
Comedy Works in Denver. They sent me to their open mic.
Same thing. She doesn't book me.
Yeah,
she never did.
They sent me to their open mic line.
What the fuck?
I was like, no, I'm good. And this is like 5-6 years ago. So it was 5 years ago, 5 years after my half-hour special on Comedy Central.
Wow.
And I left a message on the open mic thing, and I was like, I can send you links and stuff to me doing
oh my God.
sets on television. I mean, I know I don't have a Letterman or a Conan or anything at the time, right? And never heard anything back.
Wow.
Right. But, if
wow.
I'm
well,
mad
you know
now.
What? Now we're never going to not work those rooms.
It's true. It's true. Because we've named names. That's it, you guys.
Wow.
But you know what? If Mark Ridley called me tomorrow, I did this one gig one time. Only once in the bajillion years I've been doing stand-up comedy have I ever gotten my time cut.
Yeah.
I got my time cut.
Wow. By?
I felt like I had been
By
knifed.
Ridley?
No. I was at the Comedy Stop in Atlantic City.
Oh, Bob Kephart?
Right, he wasn't even there.
That's
what JJ Walker was emceeing so that he could really
so
fuck
many
up the
things
show
wrong
immediately.
With this already. Oh my God.
Manny Olivara was headlining.
Who?
Manny Olivara. You know that guy?
I know him. I don't think I know him.
Italian road guy.
I think I've
East
seen
Coast,
his name, but I don't think
East
I've
Coast
met
road
him.
guy.
Okay.
Perfectly nice guy.
Sure.
Lot of room work. Lot of work in the room.
Right.
And I was in the middle, just doing a 20.
Yeah.
And Rontowski used to do it all the time. I think it closed. But
I think the Murphy bed closed on somebody. You stayed in a room with the Murphy bed. You had to pull your bed down. I'm like, this is a fucking hazard. I could die here.
I did not stay at a Murphy.
I did.
Well, it was a different time, wasn't it? Did you have your pinafore?
He talked to Mark Ridley. Put her in a Murphy bed.
Put her in a Murphy bed.
She's not my style.
So, but there were 2 shows a night, like 14 shows. It was one of these casino gigs, right?
Yeah.
So by Wednesday, I had figured out how to do it. Rontowski had sort of explained that what they want is 35 minutes worth of material in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And start out swearing like a stevedore out the gate.
Oh my God.
So by Wednesday first show, I did it. Wednesday second show, the manager, who had not seen me before, said, "You seem to do all right, but I just got a call from Bob. He said he got a complaint last night from the other manager, and they want you to cut your time to 15 instead of 20. And I felt like I'd never, before or after, have had my time cut. It was so humiliating. I felt like I had been punched in the face.
Wow.
And I was like, I almost started crying just because that's how I deal with stress. I don't know. And sometimes I cry. But I didn't cry. I just said, I'm going to go pant over here and sit down in the mall because it's the worst gig in the world,
it's horrible, yeah.
So, paid okay. Anyway, but I'm flying home. I get an email from the guy who booked me at the gig. And he goes, and he had called me the next day and said, Bob called me. I told him he was out of his mind. Don't worry about it. So I finish out the week. I do 15s. I leave. 2 days after I come back, I get a call from the guy who booked me, and he goes, "Hey, Bob wants to know if you want to do the room again." And I was like,
"What?"
Kind of. I'd already.
Oh my God!
I'd already forgotten what a damn nightmare it was.
Classic. Oh my God.
Right? It's the worst fucking gig in the world, and I'm like, why? Now I know what I'm going into. I can pack my own linens, like whatever.
He wants you back.
Oh my God, that's right. Great. Maybe he won't hit me this time.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Schumer, you want to talk?
Well, Linda Smith, do you know who she is?
I know that name.
She was fucking hilarious.
Oh.
I don't know where she went.
Right.
like when I was in New York, I didn't see her doing spots or anything, but she was a New York comic in the early 90s whenever the HBO Women of the Night. Like, I don't know what happened to her. She's
I got two names
funny.
for you.
And, hold on, Henriette Mantel.
Oh, Henriette Mantel is one of them.
Hilarious. Now, she's still working
She's writing,
and stuff,
I
but
think.
she's writing, yeah. But
what about Sue Murphy?
Sue was, she's a brilliant headliner.
Yeah.
But she's not doing stand-up anymore. She's
just
head
writing.
writer at Chelsea lately.
Okay.
I don't know what she's doing now.
Right, just writing.
I don't know if she's on the
But
new
I'll tell
show.
you, she was one of the first,
Sue Murphy was a motherfucker, man.
she produced, she blew the roof off the place.
She did, in like
Anything.
92, a 10-minute Star Trek bit. No one else was doing bits that long.
No.
And not about that stuff. She was just a total anomaly, and
Just
but it's
so
weird, like,
funny. I miss her.
She wasn't super.
Sue, call me.
I wasn't friends with her, really. She wasn't like super friendly,
Well, I think
which
she
no
has
one
this-
has to be.
No, it's stand-up comedy. We all have, like, I'm sure,
Yeah.
you know how you, I was telling somebody the other day, you know how you know Mark Maron likes you? When he comes up to you and says, why do you hate me, Kirsten? He did that to me in 99. And that's when I said, Mark, it's not me, it's you. And he goes, oh. Oh, well then, all right then.
Yeah, Sue was great. And, but she was, what do you mean, like what happened to her?
Yeah, like I know.
Like she should have gone for as a stand-up.
Like I know she was headlining, but she should have blew up. Like
Yes, she
Kathleen
should have.
Madigan is really, really funny.
Yes.
And she can fill these theaters
Yes.
now, and she
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
Where you're like, there's at least a handful of people that
Right.
should have done that.
Right,
You
right.
and I,
Yo, Sue,
for example.
Yes. Yes.
Sure,
But
what the
definitely
heck.
Sue Murphy.
But definitely
Yeah.
Sue Murphy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could play any room.
Yeah.
Like dirtbag.
Her crowd
one-nighters.
work is good.
Oh, crowd work.
Yeah.
Her crowd work was Paula Poundstone.
Yes.
But her writing was like pinpoint, like
Yeah.
awesome.
And she's also had this very cool demeanor on stage. Nothing would ruffle her.
Unflappable.
Yeah.
I emceed for her at Acme in
Oh, really?
92 or 93. And I remember someone, I think I was like, well, I'm going to go get a soda. Does anyone want anything? She goes, yes, I'm the headliner. I would like a Diet Coke, please. And it was the way she delivered it
Yeah.
was funnier than it was
Yeah.
30 times funnier than
Yeah.
how I just said it.
Yeah.
And you knew that she was kidding.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't being a jerk about it. She
Yeah.
was just going, yeah, if you could just carry me to my elephant. And he was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah.
That was part of a time in San Francisco. Her and Warren Thomas, who passed away, but he's like he's a cousin, I would say comedically a cousin of Patrice O'Neill in the way he dealt with the white people and talking to the crowd and fucking freaking people out and killing and
just
amazing.
just
Yeah.
bringing them into the giant hug
Yeah,
that
but
made everyone
more-
uncomfortable and
more likable.
Oh,
But
good.
yeah, like he would get laid. He's the guy that would get laid after the show. He's Patrice's get laid brother,
Okay, yeah.
But I think that's someone. It's like I don't think a lot of comics know who he is, and
No, I
that's-
didn't.
He
I've
was
never-
brilliant off the top of his head.
Man.
Really funny. But yeah, okay. So let's.
Let's
This is so uncomfortable, right?
right.
Because I think between the two of us, we're friends with all of these people.
All of these people.
All four of the comics.
There's or at least acquaintances, right?
Yeah, friends
We
to
would be
acquaintance.
friends if we ever hung out with any of them.
Yeah.
And so we're friends now because we were just acquaintances, and now we're
Yeah,
becoming
that's true.
friends. It's
Yeah, yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
And so we're talking about four people:
Yeah, it's
Amy Schumer,
right.
who is being accused randomly for no particular reason. Tammy Pescatelli,
Right.
Kathleen Madigan,
Right.
and Wendy Liebman.
Right.
Do you know that, first of all, allow me to digress, Wendy Liebman has no albums.
Really?
None.
That's brilliant.
It isn't brilliant because it's passive income, and Jackie Kashian would like Wendy Liebman to make some money in her twilight years. And also,
She's-
Jackie Kashian would like to listen to Wendy Liebman albums.
She just, you can get it. Oh no, I was just going to say go on Spotify. Wait a minute.
You can't.
But she, I don't know. That might be smart because you can keep your,
You keep working?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to rewrite a lot. Anyway, I
so
digress.
here's so I call you, right?
Yes,
And I'm like,
yeah.
did you hear this thing? There's-
You're in the car driving to like some weird
I'm
gig
like,
down in
this
Hermosa Beach or something. Redondo coming back.
Redondo.
Yeah. Like a hat shop. And,
No, it's a bar with like fish, like caught taxonomy, taxidermied fish hanging from the ceiling, and it's oddly a good gig. Okay.
Oh, that is.
So, but yeah, so I say, well, there's this accusation. One of them is the Wendy joke, and the other one is that the show, Amy's show, took a Kathleen Madigan bit, and I go, it's this bit where. And then I start describing the bit, and you go,
and I say, I'm doing something very comparable to that, because it was a bit. The premise, it's the same premise,
which is
everybody would say Oprah has hired someone to slap food out of her hand.
Yeah,
I say that I have hired people to slap food out of my hand, but I only say that because everyone should know this. That's a real job. You can hire someone to follow you around to go, no.
Sure.
You can't eat that.
Right.
And I did. I actually paid someone.
What?
Yeah, I paid.
Is that the worst OA sponsor ever?
If I could probably use OA, quite honestly, but I have never, because I just eat all the food. Anyway, but I don't need to eat all the food, but I eat all the food. And, but it's a real Los Angeles crazy ass job.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Where you can actually hire someone, which is any number of people have made that joke about that. And I think in the Schumer sketch, Oprah had hired someone, right?
I can't remember.
Whatever, but I bring up Oprah later in the bit, and so Oprah comes up because she's in Weight Watchers. Slapping the food out of the hand is an image that has been there since the dawn of man.
Yeah, I mean, it's an image I had today as the writer's assistant, Danielle, gave us like a cookie recipe in a jar where you just, all the ingredients are in the jar and all I did was take the chocolate chips out of the jar and eat them. And so now there's just brown sugar in the jar. Right then I was like, somebody slapped this shit out of my hand. But yeah, and Connor Kellicott is a funny comic. He was doing that exact joke in like 2002. He posted a video of him at the Punchline in San Francisco doing it.
Right.
And Becky Donahue is a New York comic. So it's like, it's not the most unlikely joke to think about.
And if quite honestly, that's, for me anyway, that's a premise. That's part of a joke.
Yeah,
Feel free to write a third act.
Yes.
Feel free to write 3 more punchlines that go from that very kind of, it's a smiley kind of premise.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh yeah, that sort of makes sense.
Right.
People slapping food out of people's hands. Okay. And,
it's not a turn,
Yeah,
like,
it's not.
Then you start writing.
Yes. That's when you start writing.
And in Amy's sketch, that's the very end, I thought really kind of flipped the whole thing on itself, because the very last beat is somebody saying to Amy, isn't this justifying violence against women? And then it freezes on it and Amy's going, So to me, it was almost saying all that shit you were laughing at, this is what you're laughing at.
Yes.
And it kind of
that's
forced that shit in your face.
That's the point.
Which made it. That's the twist of it. You know.
And I will say this: Amy Schumer, all of that Patrice joke that they accused her about,
same fucking thing.
The same. It had a third act.
Yes.
It had a whole thing about rape and about peeping toms and about creepers.
It was the same. It was like, you're laughing at this, you're laughing at that. Boom! You just laughed at rape. So it's almost like she does the thing where she takes an existing construct, which is, when you think about it, is not good for the woman in the scenario, and she flips it over and shows you.
Yes.
And that's not stealing.
That is not stealing. You know what that is? That's making lemonade, man. That is making some seriously excellent good.
Yeah.
Because that's what, I have this weird thing about the 3 main jokes that guys tell about their wives. And that's how I know what kind of wife I don't want to be.
Yeah.
And so in the course of that, I explain what those jokes are. And they're not... I don't explain like the punchlines that those guys came up with. I explain the 3 premises.
Yeah, you are doing the rare joke off of a joke,
right? And all she's doing is she's taking a premise that other comedians have used, and then writing a whole other chapter on top of it, or a twist.
Patrice just did it and left it like that. Yeah, and she was like, it's almost like she's in the audience going, that one's rape.
Yeah, yeah. Then tagging the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
So I don't have. I don't have any problem with.
Yeah, but what it unleashed and with
was a weird storm
with the Wendy joke. I mean, It's word for word, almost the same. But that occasionally that happens. My only thing is, I think that was a little careless and sloppy because that's a joke when you think of it, you're
Wendy
like,
doesn't have any albums.
This has got to be out here. You know, that joke. It's one step. It's one turn. It's one turn off of a phrase, which is I want the man to pay.
Yeah.
Boom for sex. Like if you were to boom for sex, and boom in the car, boom, 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 and take it into this really dark spiral downward, that's totally different. But just that one prepositional phrase off of it isn't.
Did that feel
thinkable.
harder, more real?
It's thinkable.
Okay.
A lot of us could think of it if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I did think that for sure. Just because parallel thinking. My buddy Dave wrote one of the first ever jokes about Barbie and Ken and the divorced Barbie.
Yeah.
Where divorced Barbie got half of Ken's shit.
Yeah.
That was the joke he wrote.
Yeah.
And he wrote it in 95, 96. And he heard that in Minneapolis, Dave Mortal, he heard that someone in LA was doing that joke and he lost his mind. And I was like, hey, write another joke. It's a Barbie joke. Get over yourself. Who gives a shit?
It's a cultural commentary, Jackie.
It's a trope, man. And
he's a great writer. He's a great joker.
Oh, he is great.
He probably has a temper, though, right? A little bit, or I don't know. I don't know him that well. I don't know him hardly at all. But,
oh my God! I'll tell you something about Dave Mortal.
I love comics that get enraged about that shit.
It is kind of and Dave loves rage.
Yeah,
he loves rage until he's done, and then he doesn't care at all anymore about anything. But Dave was the guy who went from being an open micer to headliner in I think it was 2 years.
Wow.
So he was probably 32 or 35 when he started.
Okay.
So he had some history and stuff. But I'll tell you something.
He had stuff to talk about.
He had stuff to talk about. But I remember mocking him openly about how he, because he would do the one-nighters, right? The shitty $100 or $200 one-nighters outside of Minneapolis. And they were in stupid dive bars, and people weren't listening. And he would get infuriated that they weren't listening. And I remember he came home one time, and we were all just sitting around at open mic the next week, and he goes, I just walked off stage. I told them, I said, you people don't deserve comedy. And I walked off stage, and all of us just gaped at him. And then he said, then the bartender came up to me and said, man, I'm really sorry, and tried to give me the $200. And I was like, no. And I was like, no.
Now I'm enraged.
Now we're all enraged. You don't turn down we all need what are you doing, Dave? I know you still live with your dad. What are you doing to me?
I like that he was able to make the bartender feel sorry for him instead of chase him out the room.
A classic. And I used, after that story,
that's good,
I still call him Anastasia because he's a princess. It's like, hey, princess, the rest of us want that gig. Well, who books that?
And I've had many instances where bits of mine have appeared other places, and I
remember the time I called you.
Oh, yeah. One of them appeared on stage with Jackie Cation.
Yes, Jackie Cation barely knew Laurie Kilmartin at the time. And I had to call you up. And what happened, I was doing Flappers Claremont. And
no one does Flappers Claremont. No one does that room but me.
No one does it like me. Throwing down in front of the 9 people that had come to see, because it was early days.
There are always 9 good ones, though.
They're perfectly nice people. And it was years ago. But I did that joke about using birth control. Yeah, I did your. Yeah, I did the one about how you had your boy, and I was like, and then I heard it come out of my mouth.
So you kind of riffed it or something.
Yeah. I riffed it off the end of some other joke I was doing, and I heard the laugh, and I genuinely felt a wave of shame that washed over me, and I looked at the audience and I said, Laurie Kilmartin, you guys. LaurieKilmartin.com is what you want to go to if you want to hear that joke done correctly. Because that's her joke. I am so sorry. I had to call you.
By the way, that joke is so old, when I tell it, I feel a wave of shame. So. Write a new one. Okay. So
such a good joke.
I have so many different examples, but I'll tell you the one that parallels maybe the Wendy Liebman situation, which is I wrote a joke and that it was a Mitch Hedberg joke.
Okay.
And it was, and as soon as Josh Sneed, who was opening for Mitch a lot, came up and told me, and this was years after I was doing it.
And you had not seen Mitch do it?
Well, I don't know. I worked with him a long time previously. I'd worked with him, so I don't remember if I heard or not. But
he was pretty prolific.
I remember this when I wrote that joke. It was because I guess all of my act is about my life. So I've always been like, oh, I gotta wait. Like I can't write a joke unless I'm assaulted or something. You know, like, oh, why can't I be like these observational comics? Look at this mic.
So
it
great.
Looks like a dick. That's 2 minutes, right?
Oh my God, I'm using that. Can I have that?
As long as you say Laurie Kilmartin. And only do it at Claremont.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. And so I wrote this joke that was just observational off the phrase off people saying, I don't care if someone's white, black, green, or purple, and how the last color they end on is always a color that people aren't, you know? And the joke was, you should care if someone's purple, they're probably choking to death.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's a Mitch Hedberg joke. It's very close to it. He might use a different color, but he comes to the same conclusion.
Fair enough.
So, I remember when I wrote that joke, I was like, this is totally observational. I'm changing. It felt different from how I normally write.
You're like, I'm growing as a writer.
Yes, I am growing.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, I'm growing. I'm using Mitch's seed to grow.
Yeah, sadly, I'm growing.
So, Josh told me I had done it on TV. No one said anything, and
oh wow.
Yeah. So, Josh told me we were working at the River Center in San Antonio, and he comes up to me after the show, and he has this really sad, it's a sad day when you have to tell a comic that isn't a thief, that they're doing something that another, it's like, I got bad news.
Oh, it's devastating.
You're gonna have to drop
honestly.
something, and I never did it again,
right.
But I was like, fuck, did I? Because I thought of it differently, and it felt different when I wrote it.
Yeah.
Should that I remember that's a flag, and I wonder, did I bury that in my head and come up with it later? I will never know.
Right.
But I'm just saying that happens.
It happens
to the most diligent people. It just does.
It just does.
And if you drop it when you find out, when someone tells you, oh, got it, goodbye.
And I think I read the best defense of it was Baron Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
I think Baron Vaughn wrote an excellent defense of Amy Schumer.
Oh, really?
So I should have written it down. That would have been an idea.
That's okay.
But I think the defense was essentially that people just can't face the fact that she's funny. They just can't. They just can't face it. They're like, she keeps being funny. She must be stealing it from someone. She keeps doing new and different things, in these new and different ways. And quite honestly, she has a staff that writes the sketch show.
Oh, she writes
brilliant
staff,
and
she's part of. But they're
and then she wrote an hour of stand-up comedy in 3 years.
Right.
So that's actually not that hard for anyone to do. I mean, I think a great comic, and I think she is. I think, but and then Mark Maron, did the defense of in the rant.
Well,
WTF.
So here's imagine you have a year where you wrote your show with other. Okay, so you're writing your show. Judd Apatow hears you on Stern and goes, "Hey, you want to write a movie?" Like, you can't say no to that. You can't say, "I'm exhausted. I'm tired. I have an HBO special." Yeah, I'll write a movie. I'll star in it, and then I'll promote it. I'll go on Ellen. I'll do a chunk of material on Ellen. I'll do a chunk on Jimmy Fallon. I'll do a chunk on Conan. I'll let all these things eat up at all my material that you haven't already used in your show or the movie.
Yep.
And HBO's like, you want to do that? Well, you don't I don't think her shit's going to go away, but you never know as a comic when you can't.
You
don't
have to say yes.
no. You have to
say yes.
It's like any gig. You go, yeah, I'll do it. If you have two spots at the same time, you take them both and you fucking figure it out. You move one around. You say yes and you figure it out. That's what you do.
Yeah.
And if all that's people are offering you that, you say yes, and I'll work it. I'll stay awake 22 hours a day if I have to. I don't give a fuck. I'll get this done.
You take the work when the work is there.
Yes.
So and I don't. But I loved the idea that. Because some of this stuff is coming from this weird part of, and Marin mentioned something about it too, how these trolley dudes that seem to, I genuinely don't think they can understand that she's just going to keep being funny for a minute.
Yeah.
And she might burn out. and need to have a lie down,
Yeah.
a little Chappelle Africa moment. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she might have to call it a day.
Oh my
for a
God,
minute.
yeah.
And but I don't think it's going to affect in the long run.
No.
It just means that she might need to lie down for a minute.
Well, one thing that's really disturbing about all the coverage, like this should have been an intra comic skirmish, where, this gets posted and then there's phone calls and all that stuff. But Amy is a vocal opponent of gun use.
Oh, right.
She is helping her cousin, the hated Chuck Schumer, hated by Republicans, Chuck Schumer. And so that she's also activated, like, when Breitbart News is covering a joke skirmish, like, what the fuck? Those guys are crazy.
Wow,
so
I didn't realize
about
that.
taking down a liberal, and it's like
She's
anyway,
also pro-choice, and she's
very
anti-gun
open about all that,
and all of her politics.
So that was another awful. It reminded me of what was done to Janine Garofalo when she was talking about the Iraq War. She was
they ripped her apart,
brutalized. Like she doesn't go online because of any of that. She just doesn't want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So it was the same sort of. It's that mentality. I mean, I know whenever there's a mass shooting and I start posting about gun control, that's when I get crazy responses on Twitter. That's when those guys come after me, and otherwise they leave me alone. But I can't imagine having those guys who know nothing about comedy. They just want to fucking fuck you up as much as they can. Start going after your comedy and start making side-by-side videos. Like this has unleashed some people, I don't know.
People with like weird Premiere skills.
Yeah.
Who has an Adobe suite.
Yeah.
And it's like you bought an Adobe suite just so you can be all fucking angry?
When they're going to start coming for all of us. And guess what? You know what? We're not all that original.
No. Best of luck.
Most of the comics who are parents fucking hate it on stage.
Right.
Because loving it isn't funny.
Right. The comedy has to come from the same, it comes from the same well, which is why people can relate to the damn stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really, that was like really disturbing and weird and scary and stuff, and I can't imagine having that weird kind of energy just directed directly at you, your name.
Right.
And plus, whatever.
Plus Photoshop involved, right?
Yeah.
Like you're just people being completely like focused and angry.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think.
It's kind of awful. And now imagine you like they're taping a show. They're taping their 4th or 5th season right now. It's hard enough to create when no one's watching and no one's paying attention. When you're in the crosshairs of people that have logged every joke since the history of time and that are going to come after you. That's horrifying. I don't know what they're doing. They must have just put themselves in a protective bubble or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have cable. Do you hear about the other drama? The other drama was a comedy festival with the guy who was attacked.
Yeah.
And so I'm a Minneapolis comic.
Okay, so you should explain it.
So I should explain it. But there was a guy who was accused of attacking a waitress in Minneapolis at the House of Comedy in the Mall of America like 3 years ago. Right?
A comic?
A comic.
Okay.
A comic had essentially, you hang out with waitstaff.
Right.
After the show,
Right.
you go to their apartment and you party.
I don't. But
I don't, but I used to. Like
Yeah.
20 years ago, I would hang out with staff.
I
And-
never did.
You never did?
No.
What'd you do? Just go home?
I was addicted to America Online. It was $2.95 an hour, and I lost my shirt chatting. I was an
chat
early
rooms?
adapter to chat
Chat
rooms.
rooms?
I was
That's
Yeah.
hilarious. I loved the chat rooms, but I had unlimited. I don't know why I had unlimited.
Well, it became unlimited, but when it first came out, it was $2.95 an hour.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Vaguely. My sister gave me her Mac Classic in 1990.
90? No,
No.
bitch. No.
No, it was 1990.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it was 1989, 1990. Would have been 90 or 91 because she got a new Mac and I got her Mac Classic, which had 2 megs of RAM. Both megs of RAM and the dial-up, right?
Yeah.
And she made my AOL name, which is still Jesus, because she thought it was hilarious. And but I got when I moved to LA in '97, brought my Mac Classic.
Nice.
And I did some time in the chat room.
I had an early laptop. I had the Tandy 286 laptop
Tandy.
I took with me on the road, and I took a separate modem. You had to plug in and plug into the phone. And
Right.
it was,
Did you drive or you didn't fly with this stuff? Did you?
I drove. I
Yeah, you
drove
had to drive.
everywhere.
There you go.
I drove
So-
across country.
Yeah. There's nothing like a car for being the biggest person.
If
in the
you're a
world.
female feature who's willing to work for $350 a week, you can get
You can
7
go anywhere
weeks in
You can
Chicago.
You can get anywhere. It's really beautiful, doesn't it? Aspire to something out there, ladies.
Okay, so back
So-
to this. So
this
he's
guy-
going back with the staff.
He's going back with the staff. The staff
Yeah.
all kind of blows it off, and they're like, "It's time to wrap it up." And everybody else leaves. He won't leave, and I guess they might have been making out or whatever. And she was like, "Well, we're done." And he's like, "Come on, let's just keep it going." And she's like, "No, I don't want to." And so I guess he pulls, and this is in the police report, that he pulls his dick out and shoves it in her face. Well, I guess before that, he actually said out loud to her, "It's my favorite line." He says, "You should be happy I like you. You're just a waitress. I'm a comedian."
Oh, shit.
Hackiest rape line ever. Anyway, but it was just like but he pulls his dick out and he puts it in her face supposedly. And he told to the cops, he said that, he's aggressive when he drinks. And he was acquitted, completely acquitted, by the way.
Wow.
The judge in Minnesota said because they were both drunk, it didn't count.
Fuck.
Because it's 1967 in that man's brain.
Yeah.
And then there was a sort of a big, smear campaign of the waitress. The waitress no longer works at the club anymore. And the guy, he comes and goes, and it's I'm not going to say his name because he has lawyers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he was in this festival, and all Minneapolis comics know this guy.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows this guy.
Yeah.
Because he paid one of those online things to scrub his record and stuff.
Oh, wow.
You can hire people to
Yeah.
sort of get stuff offline. And so my friend is like, "Hey, I don't want to do this festival that I paid $40 to submit to do this festival." An entirely different issue.
Oh, my God.
And so she writes an email to the festival going, my favorite part about this email, by the way, because it was very, very lucid and very sweet. It was just
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this guy, I know he was acquitted, but I'm not going to feel comfortable. So I don't want to take part in it. I assume you guys know that there was this problem with this guy. I don't think that I can do it." And so they called her, and she's like, "No, you got to email me." And
I want this.
yeah, it's got to be in writing.
Yeah.
And so they finally emailed her, and they go, "Well, we understand, we don't want to take any sort of moral high ground." They said they didn't want to take any moral high ground. Wow. Yeah, it turns out. And they really didn't. But the...
I mean, I guess since he was acquitted,
Right.
that's
that
what they could
legally,
say.
legally they don't have to, and they get to. But
Can you say the festival name?
it was the San Luis Obispo?
No.
What?
San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, San Luis Obispo. Kyle can.
Well, I actually have an addendum to this because I'm in the middle of a quandary on this.
About going at all?
I'm supposed to be on it.
Yeah.
And then I saw this stuff come out, and I've got all this weirdness about it.
Well, it's because it was in Terabang. It came out about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing about it is that he's the guy. This guy he's friends with the founders, right? So they've taken him off the
Aren't
list.
they
now.
always friends with the founders?
Right.
They're friends with the club owner. They're friends. They're friends. They're friends.
They're friends. The club owner in Minneapolis, that Mall of America guy, he paid his bail. But the thing is the crazy thing is I loved my friend's email because the underlying message of this email that she sent the festival was, "Hey, we're all going to be drunk. We're all going to be drunk, and he is a jackass when he's drunk, and I get a little mouthy. So I'm going to be telling him," the underlying thing was like, "I'll probably end up calling him out on it, and he'll probably end up taking his junk out." She didn't say any of that, by the way.
Yeah.
But the implication was, hey, we're all going to be kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
And cocaine, there'll be all kinds of drugs. And I was like, really? What is happening? What kind of festival is this? Gramication. But it's just, I don't know. The guy is just, he's aggressive, He's just an aggressive dude. And it's
That's scary to be around somebody like that.
yeah, and comedy festivals are supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be comedy camp
And
because
it's
there's no money.
Going after a waitress is also a power thing because he is way more power than she does at a club. He probably wouldn't go
Right, he's the headliner.
after another comedian. I don't know, maybe not, but I'm just saying that it seems.
This guy,
and obviously,
anecdotally,
since the club owner paid his bail.
Yeah.
He made the right choice, power choice.
Yeah. Anecdotally, this guy, I've heard at least 3 different women tell me that he likes to walk up to a seated woman comedian, like you and I are right now, and get too close. So his belt buckle, his crotch is right in your face.
Oh my God.
And say shit like, "Hey, Jackie, how's it going?" And then just shake his hips.
What? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, like just sort of gyrate in your face.
Can you and I pledge $50
fucking
each
kill him?
to the next female comic to bite his penis? Like, we will give you 100. We will bail you out of jail. We'll be your club owner.
Or just a little karate chop to the crotch.
Wow.
Just ka-chunk. We'll bail you out. But it's just, there's enough problems in life. Everybody. It's just like, don't be a jerk. We're all trapped in this business that we love so
know.
much. Please be nice to each other and don't lose your shit. Because I was trapped in that car one time, and some comic goes, I was in a car with a bunch of comics, and one of the guys goes, "All right, so if you guys had to fuck," ask me, Andy Smith, Mary Mack, and somebody else, "If you guys had to fuck someone in this car, who would you fuck?" No. And I said, "We are trapped in this goddamn car. Please do not go do this. Please, what are you doing to me? You're killing me."
If you're at the airport and you're all getting on different planes, then you answer that question. But you don't answer it at the beginning of a drive. Oh my God.
Right. You're just like, this is exhausting.
Timing.
It is very key in stand-up comedy.
What?
It's timing. It's one of the keys.
Yeah. So I have a bit that's on my CD that I recorded in 2009. So the bit I was probably working from 2006 on,
Yeah.
And it's about how Old Testament God, looking at Old Testament God and saying he's drunk, and then he's acting like a drunk, and then I have several Bible examples where it seems like he's drunk. Okay. So I was doing that for a long time. It's on a CD. It's out. And I was driving down the 5 from my parents' house to LA, and I was listening to Julia Sweeney's show as God Said Ha.
Okay.
And she starts the same thing, but it's God is codependent.
Oh, okay.
But the same scaffolding, the same, and here are the Bible examples.
Yep.
And I had to pull over on the side of the road and go, oh my God. I'm like, okay, it's codependent.
Killing me.
It's different enough. But then, so I keep doing my chunk, and then I'm at the Hermosa Comedy and Magic.
Yep.
I do it. Somebody comes up to me afterwards. Hey, did you see Louis last week? No. He does the exact same thing on his show. Yeah, drunk. And he used Bible stories. And I was like, I know he didn't see me do it. It's total parallel. And anyone looking at the Bible, that's an easy structure to go to is, this this higher power is acting like a human, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and God seems like he's really drunk.
Listen, I made a great point comedically, but I dropped it because I didn't want people thinking I stole it from Louis, even though I was doing it like 5 years before he did it on his show.
And it's on your album.
It is. It's like, it's,
But remember the rule is for doing it ongoing, right?
Yeah.
Is like whoever does it on TV first gets it.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
It's the worst rule ever. It's a dumb rule.
All these things happen, and it really, because I didn't want us to seem like we were blaming the comics that felt like their stuff had been stolen.
No.
Because it feels shitty when it happens, even when it's not a theft. It's still like, fuck, I gotta drop it.
Right. And what if you didn't even? I mean, sometimes you're like, well, I didn't even like, but now I kind of want to. Yeah. I can't think of an example, but I know that I have examples that I've had to stop doing, and I'm just like, okay, well, fair enough.
It happens. It feels bad, and it that was such a horrible thing to have to read about because I like
everybody involved.
I know, it was like
those are all professional comics, who aren't.
They're
not
fucking headliners, and
Yes.
they're great, and there's not enough female headliners, and
and they're not prone to being hysterical.
The industry doesn't let there be enough female.
They're not
headliners.
being shrill.
Yeah. It's just it was really messy and sad and stuff. And anyway,
Anyway.
Okay. That's the end of this one.
That's the end
See
of this?
you later.
Is this the end of this one?
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. So we almost left this episode without doing our comic of the week.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got
one? Ali Wong.
Oh, I like Ali Wong.
I love Ali Wong.
Ali Wong is hilarious.
She's hilarious. And she has, I love comedy when it comes from an aggrieved point of view. And her whole thing, and every joke falls in line, is she would like a life of leisure without working for it. And
that is the through line of Ali.
Funny,
yes.
Because I don't see anyone else talking about that. It's everyone else is sort of like adapting to the new world where we all have jobs and we're all working and hustling. We're all, we're Uber driver, we're all this stuff. And Ali Wong is having none of it. She wants a husband to support her, and so she can do what she wants.
Yes.
And her physicality on stage supports it. Like she's really funny, and she
there's genuine
has a staccato
outrage.
the way she hits her
Yes.
words. That's
Yeah.
also like her timing is funny, and the way she talks is funny.
It's compelling. It's really good.
Yeah, she's great. And so check out Ali Wong. I think she's still writing on Fresh Off the Boat.
Okay.
So hopefully writing doesn't take her away from stand up, because I know that it
Yes,
can.
you get a chance to.
But she's really great. She must have a CD. But we do no background work. We're just like,
right. We're just,
who do I like?
What do you like that lady? Who's
Yeah.
Brandy Posey? Or some,
Yeah. So she'll be next week's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
So Ali Wong, check out Ali Wong. She's great. Okay.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.